In this video, we're going to be checking out the Boss FZ-2 Hyperfuzz, the Fuzzlord Effects FU-2, and the Behringer SF300. We're going to talk a little bit about the pedals, and we're going to do some sound clip comparisons. Don't go anywhere, we're starting right now. Thanks for checking out the Fuzz Lord Effects YouTube channel, where we do gear demos and other videos about guitars and gear. So if you're into that kind of thing, please subscribe to the channel and check out some of the other videos. I'm Jason from Fuzzlord, and you can keep up with me on a daily on the Instagram page at Fuzzlord Effects. You can check out fuzzlordeffects.com to see what kind of pedals and other gear we have in stock. You can check out the Fuzz Life podcast, where I interview other people in the music industry every week. And before we get started, I want to do a special thank you to all of our Patreon supporters whose names are going to be running on the screen right now, who help make this channel possible. So again, we really appreciate you, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. We're going to get started, but before we do, I'm curious to know, what is one of your favorite bands or songs that has used a Hyperfuzz style pedal? So drop a comment below. I know one of my favorite songs that we're going to play in this video is Empress Rising from Monolord. Just want to let everyone know, for this video, we're using Fuzz Mode 2 on the Boss and the Behringer. That is the sound in the mode that all of our favorite songs that we associate with the Hyperfuzz pedal are recorded with, and it's the baseline sound for the Fuzzlord FU-2. So in this video, we're checking out Mode 2 on the Boss and the Behringer so we can get a nice comparison that connects to the sounds that we're used to hearing. If you're curious to know what Mode 1 sounds like, why don't you head on over to the Does It Doom channel and check out Steve's demo on the pedal. So the Boss Hyperfuzz FZ-2 is a very unique sounding pedal. It came out in 1993, and if you look at the schematic, it's just such an incredible circuit. It uses a lot of components, and it definitely does not fall into the less is more category. Some of the people that have made this pedal and that sound very famous are Just from Electric Wizard, Thomas from Monolord, and a whole bunch of other people. So again, if you can think of a musician that has used a Hyperfuzz style pedal, drop a comment below and let us all know who they are. The Hyperfuzz was based off of the old Superfuzz pedal. One of the very key things about the Superfuzz pedal is that it used a pair of transistors hooked up in a way that created an upper octave sound. After that was accomplished, we'd run them through some clipping diodes to give a little more fuzz, and then we had some very drastic tone filters going on. So the Boss Hyperfuzz was inspired by that. They did a couple really cool tricks in the beginnings of the gain stage to reduce some noise before they fed into the phase inverter that is in the circuit that splits the signal to feed into that dual transistor stage that creates that upper octave. Then what the Boss pedal did that is very unique is they used some op amps to create some filters, which is our different Mode 1 and Mode 2. Of course, there's a boost mode also. The Boss then wraps it up with a bass treble active EQ that utilizes some op amps so we can both cut and boost those frequencies. Behringer SF300 is a clone of the Boss FZ-2 Hyperfuzz. So the biggest difference is it uses a plastic enclosure, and it's of course a lot more affordable. So if you're curious about what a Hyperfuzz sounds like, a Boss FZ-2, and don't want to spend the $200 or $250, the Behringer SF300 is a really cool pedal also. It's just possibly not as sturdy as the nice metal enclosure of the Boss FZ-2 pedal. There was a lot of debate in forums previously about, is the SF300 Behringer pedal the real deal? Is it as good as the Boss FZ-2? Luckily for all of us, there's been a couple people over the last year that have done videos about those two pedals. If you look back on the Fuzzlord channel, I did a talk about the two circuits and then how it compares to the Fuzzlord FU-2. Steve Reese from Does It Doom also did a wonderful sound comparison of the two pedals next to each other, and I couldn't really hear much of a difference. And of course, Josh Scott from JHS. So over the last year, it's been kind of interesting because the Behringer SF300 has nearly gone extinct after this information has come out about what a good pedal it really is. So that leads us to the Fuzz Lord Effects FU-2 pedal, which is a little bit of all the pedals. The Fuzz Lord Effects FU-2, just like the Boss Hyperfuzz, was based off of the old Superfuzz made by Shin-ei. Same general concepts. We're going to increase the amplitude of the signal. We're going to use a couple gain stages to get a boost, run it into a phase inverter to split the signal into in-phase and out-of-phase signal, that then drives that dual transistor gain stage that creates that upper octave. And then of course, similar clipping diodes, but the Fuzzlord Effects version uses a completely different tone stack that's more similar to what was in some orange amplifiers. It's the 2-band bass, treble, active, backsandal, EQ. Out of all the different tone stacks that I come across here in the shop and with different companies' pedals and stuff, the 2-band active backsandal EQ, similar to like orange and green amplifiers, is my all-time favorite. So the Fuzzlord Effects FU-2 is a very similar sound, but there's a bunch of tweaks all throughout the circuit to make it a little less sputtery sounding, a little tighter. And I think it's a sound that's a lot more easy to fit into a mix. If you want to know even more about the Fuzzlord Effects FU-2, we did a whole video about the thought process behind that pedal, and we're going to leave a link to it. And there's also another video on the channel filmed and directed by Eric Marrow that we're calling a Fuzz film, which is almost a short music video that's showing off the Fuzzlord FU-2 pedal. Again, I'm Jason from Fuzzlord Effects, and I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I ask questions every week because I like interacting with everyone in the comments, so I want to know where are you watching from? Which pedal did you like? And drop a comment below and let us know a band or musician that uses one of these pedals that you really like. Something you can keep an eye out for is the Slowmatics, based out of Ireland, are in the studio right now and using an FU-2 pedal. So keep your eye out for their new album that'll be coming out this year, I'm hoping, and we're gonna get to hear that pedal on some of the tracks. Again, you can keep up with me on a daily on the Instagram page at Fuzzlord Effects. You can check out fuzzlordeffects.com to see what kind of gear and pedals we have in stock. The Fuzz Life podcast, if you want to hear interviews while you're working out, while you're at work, while you're driving, whatever, of me interviewing other people in the music industry, I'd really appreciate you taking the time to check that out. And again, a big thank you to all of our Patreon subscribers who are helping make these videos possible. We really enjoy making these videos, and with everyone's help, from folks like these, we're able to put a little more effort into things, take more time making them, get more gear here to test and show off for everyone. And again, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and for everyone that's made it to the end, it's time for the secret bonus question of the week, which is this. Did you ever ask your parents when you were a kid what the rattle was in spray paint? I did once, and the answer I was told by my dad, who told me, this would be like a series of videos of lies my dad told me. He told me that the Tooth Fairy had a deal with the spray paint company and sold the teeth to the spray paint company. That's where the rattles were, and that she was a very good business person. I'm curious to know if anyone has ever asked their parents the same sort of thing, and hopefully they came up with an answer as good as the one my dad did. So until next week, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I look forward to talking to you in the comments and on Instagram or on the Fuzz Life podcast. And again, thanks to all of our Patreon supporters. See you next week.